Broncos country. What's going on, everybody? Back after a couple days, helping out with some family business. But here's the thing, Josh Reynolds has signed to the Denver Broncos, 2-year deal worth up to $14 million. Haven't seen the guarantees on this yet. Really interesting signing. What does this mean for the Broncos? What does this mean potentially for Courtland Sutton in the draft? We're going to dive into all this. Again, guys, appreciate it. Got the Alex Forsyth film review coming later tonight as well. That's being recorded. Bo Nix going to be available tomorrow. That film room. So y'all be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. We're on our way to 500 subs. Now, let's go ahead and get into this, all right? I had done a video earlier last week, talking about Michael Thomas, him possibly signing, or maybe we would target another wide receiver, right? Well, now we bring in Josh Reynolds, okay? Kind of an under-the-radar type of guy. Not a signing that's going to make massive headlines or anything like that, but a guy that can come in here and hopefully do his job, be somewhat decent, and maybe be a little bit of a bargain for his contract. Again, the price of wide receivers is continuing to go up, and this is something that I should have known a little bit after seeing what Hollywood Brown signed for and what Tim Patrick, what he restructured to take a new contract deal down to. I think his cap hits now around that $7 million mark, and that's essentially what Josh Reynolds is at, $7 million a year, but not really sure what his guarantees are yet. Probably a incentive heavy contract as well, but let's go ahead and take a look at him just very briefly. Last year in Detroit, probably one of the best offenses he's been on. Of course, with the Rams, just coming out of college from Texas A&M, but has great size, 6'3", 194. I love the fact that we're getting another guy that's going to be a red zone threat, okay? This last year, okay, 61 targets, 40 receptions, 608 yards, 5 receiving touchdowns. It's essentially Jerry Jeudy production, if not better, than like every year, right? For most of his career. But yeah, 3 drops. That's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Not a perfect player. If he was, you would have seen him get a lot more money, but I think a decent player, especially at this value, 15.2 yards per reception. Passer rating when targeted, almost 119. So wonderful stuff. I don't really pay too much attention to the grades at the wide receiver position, but again, you can see 5 touchdowns, quality depth receiver, and you do wonder, okay, does he possibly have a bigger role in this offense than we initially anticipated? I want to give a shout out to Cameron Parker, somebody that I'm a big fan of as well, and he brought this up the other day. I bookmarked it. PFF's grades are whatever, but I thought I'd share this because of Sean Payton's love for the middle of the field. Look at Josh Reynolds' numbers here. Okay, this is last year. You see where he is targeted, middle of the field, absolutely crushing it, okay? 11 of 18 here from the line of scrimmage to 10 yards, 10 to 20 yards, 21 of 26, and then 2 of 4, 20 yards and beyond. This is what I was trying to bring up with Bo Nix. He made more throws in this part of the field than anybody else did in college football last year, okay? He made more throws in the middle of the field playing less games than Russell Wilson did by like freaking 80 throws, okay? This is very interesting, and you do wonder what impact this has for the Broncos receiver room, and does this make Courtland Sutton available for trade as a trade-up piece from 12, or a trade piece, say, if we want to retain some of his salary and then maybe get a 3rd-round draft pick, or maybe use that to partner with a 5th or a 4th and trade up and get a 2nd. I mean, wouldn't that be wonderful, guys? Okay. I think that that's a possibility, because let's take a look at the cap situation right now, okay? So what do we have right here? We have $3.4 million, but that doesn't equate for the cap hit of Josh Reynolds. If you see here at the bottom, he's at 0. Now, I don't think he's going to have a full cap hit of $7 million, because some of that stuff will probably be contract or incentive related. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe he might have a cap hit of around $3 million this year, something like that. We'll see. But essentially, we're out of cap space right now, okay? Working cap space. This also equates for the cap available with the draft picks and all that, so don't have to worry about that. But you got to think we got to be clearing some space regardless. And again, if we are to trade Courtland Sutton, we open up a lot of money, okay? We save almost $10 million, but say we retain some of that money and uh, we help pay for some of that. We keep, 5 million of that. Hey, then we still have 5 million to spend, all right? Very interesting. Say we work on an extension with DJ Jones or something like that, or we do restructure Alex Singleton, okay, which I'm totally cool with. There's plenty of options available. But I think we're now starting to see a lot of the smoke, y'all, about Denver being interested in trading up for one of these quarterbacks, whether it's Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy, Drake May. What I would love, and I might do another video on this week, wouldn't it be so cool to see somebody like Jaden Daniels working with Sean Payton? I know he's a little bit different than the type of quarterback that Sean Payton has worked with in the past, but this guy, I think, has better arm talent than Lamar Jackson and can run just as well. Of course, Lamar is a pro at not getting hit when he runs, okay? His injuries that he's had have been from within throwing from the pocket. That's something that Jane Daniels really needs to learn in. But I love the idea. Hey, if we're going to just trade away Patrick Surtain and whatever to move up to 3 to get Drake May or one of those other guys, why don't you just throw Courtland Sutton in too at that point, just move up and get Jane Daniels if we can, right? But I feel like all that is still kind of far-fetched. I think we will stick at 12. I could see Courtland Sutton being used as a trade piece, like I said, to move up in the first round or to move up and get something like another top 100 pick or a second round pick. Wouldn't that be nice, especially if we retain some of that salary? Let's just do that. But with how the receiver room is looking right now, and I expect that we take somebody in the draft, whether a lot of people have been talking now about Malik Washington. I would love somebody like Luke McCaffrey, but we bring in somebody like Josh Reynolds. He could play a depth role, or I think he could play a little bit higher of a role for a year if that's needed, if we're getting a couple rookies up to speed or something like that. So I think I would like to see Courtland Sutton stay here. I like Courtland Sutton. He's cool. I would like to see if he stays. It ideally in the scenario where he just signs like another 2-year extension, something like that, we can spread out that money, spread out that cap hit. But if we're going to trade him, if we're going to move on from him, this is the time to do it right now in the draft. I agree with that. So y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. Really interesting signing. I could see us taking a little bit more of a Moneyball approach with the wide receiver position, as that is what Sean Payton has done outside of paying Michael Thomas big bucks. So y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, y'all, go Broncos.